All right, one, two, three. We're here with Jeff Hamilton. I should say the legendary Jeff Hamilton. Michael, myself, hosting this podcast, the 1, 2, 3 podcast. Jeff, what's going on, my man? How we doing?
I'm good, just busy, just keep like nonstop trying to elevate the game all the time, but I'm enjoying every moment of it.
That's it. Constantly elevating, right? I see you with the fly
Exactly.
coat as I thought. You know, the nice jacket. I love it. Expected. Absolutely beautiful. So Jeff, I want to ask, even genuinely myself, I'm from the leather business to an extent. I have a small leather goods company where we handcraft, iPhone cases, wallets, stuff like this, and the key holders, etc., with the fine quality leathers, genuine leathers, etc. I looked into you a bit. I've seen you around. You're like a legend, definitely. Respectively, I got to give it to you. No gas, absolutely full. You deserve it. You have a really nice stamp on the culture, and it's such an organic, loving, seamless, kind of floating type way. You just do you, and people respond to it. So let me ask you, like, who is Jeff Hamilton? What's the story? What's the upbringing and whatnot? I'm curious, and for those that are new to learn about you, what's the story of Jeff?
Not to be too long.
Mhm.
I grew up I was born in Morocco, North Africa. I grew up, left when I was 10 years old, moved to Paris, and grew up in Paris and just did my studies, was mostly math and physics. I was never intended to become a designer, never planning to be. And I moved in 1980. I moved to America. I was married when I was very young. I moved in when I was in 1980 with a wife and two kids. And I started hustling, tried to see what I was going to do to make a living to support my family. And one thing led to the other. And I always loved fashion and I love art. And I was kind of like felt like I had my own taste of things
Yeah.
that I like.
Your own
And
style and vibe and flow, everything, right? You wanted to just add your own thing to things naturally.
exactly, yeah. So even though I didn't have any formal designing or business background or anything like that, I was not educated in that way. I came from a pretty modest family of accountants, and I love numbers, and believe it or not, that was my dream. My dream was to become an accountant or a CPA. So so when I moved to America, I really kind of like want step. I was always very ambitious and wanted to succeed, and one thing to led to another, and circumstances happened that I just got into the Marcianos from Guess, and we and we became friends, and I became. At one point of time, I decided to do the men's guest, and I want to be independent. So I did end up being the first licensee for Guess, and I was basically the founder of Guess Jeans for Men. So in
Oh,
1983, and again, I mean, at the time I have $20,000 when I started the company, so it's not like I'm rolling in money,
yeah,
but
you
like
started from the bottom, for real.
yeah,
Yeah,
and without even knowing the business, without knowing patterns, without knowing
yeah.
shrinkage, fashion, marketing, merchandise, everything came, you know, blessings of God, and everything came organically. And
Mm.
the company just took off. I mean, really took off. I mean, 1983, just like, especially in the men's market, there was nothing. There was a big void in the fashion. And what I did was I went to my closet and I saw things that I like. And I said, this is what I'd like to do. I'd like to enhance it. I'd like to make this. I'd like to make that.
Yeah.
I basically kind of like it. As up to today, I still design for me as I design everything I design. I always look at me. I project would I wear that? It's something, it's kind of a projection of what my ideas are.
Yeah.
So I started designing the line and just took off. And within 2 years, I was shipping $75 million. So you talk about 1984, 1985. That's
That's amazing.
different money than
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
So, just like we went on, and just fast forward a few years later, I got out of Guess Jeans. And it was like, I was a young kid, like 27, 28 years old, like very rich and riding Harleys. That was a trend, and there was all the rock and rollers, the Billy Idols and the Guns N' Roses and this and that. And I
Okay.
started making jackets for myself, for me to ride my beautiful old custom chromed out Harley Davidsons. And then everybody started wanting my jackets. So I started making jackets for Madonna and George Michael and Michael Jackson and
Wow.
Magic Johnson and Madonna.
What year is
Then
this around? What year is this around when you started
probably around
making?
86 to 88. That's
Okay.
really when it started going in. And then, obviously everybody starts saying, well, we need those jackets. We need that in the market. So I
Yeah.
started getting involved with the NBA, with the NFL, with the NHL, with baseball, with Disney, you name it.
I've
Anytime I
noticed that
could
you have
get,
amazing relationships with the NBA, right? These official,
right, yeah.
these associations, companies. Yeah.
And so those are the things that I just could start doing it. I kept on doing it, and then I started merchandising the jackets, and I start, of course, besides the real high end custom jackets, start bringing them down to a price point where we're able to sell, like
Yeah,
a few hundred
entry
stores across the
level, but
country.
you'll go up to the Python coats that are like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 grand a jacket, right?
We have today there's a release of a Supreme jacket that goes for I mean I heard it's going for $15,000. So and it was sold out in 5 minutes.
Wow.
So those are the things that are there. So
That's incredible. Absolutely crazy story. Awesome story, super cool. And now it makes a lot more sense, but it's still super, cool, of course, it's you had to hustle that up. But that guest job really gave you a lot of experience, put you in a different category to where you were able to start at that latter 27s, right? 28, those
yeah.
years. You're in a different area. You're able to really focus on capitalizing in a sense, but not so much capitalizing with those relationships with those celebrities. You're very financially stable, you have a lot of good experience, you're well rounded in this fashion niche too. You kind of put all these tools together and really maximize your situation, right? Like at a whole nother level. And
Yeah, really where it's at is like over listen, I'm 67.
yeah,
Uh but the beautiful part of what my life is today is that I've gone through a lot of great times. I went through very difficult times as well in my life, ups and downs. And but today there is a different level of appreciation. There's not only just the money. The money is very important,
no,
everything that we,
no, yeah,
but today, I mean, for me to know that I've been consistently present in the culture, whether it's been with Michael Jordan, starting with Michael Jordan and Magic and Martin Lawrence and In Living Color and the rock and roll eras and all the basketball eras and Kobe and
yeah,
Michael and all the hip hop, and now with all the Latinos, whether it's the Anuel or Carol G or Bad Bunnies or J Balvin's of the world. I mean, that's where I'm at.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
for me, just like today, to know that I'm still within that space, and I'm still evolving with it. And when people tell me, like, how can you stay relevant?
relevant.
Because
Yeah,
I'm
I'm with
passionate.
you. I'm with you. No, and I
I'm
respect
passionate.
you so much with that. The money is a byproduct for you. It's not the driving force. The relationship, the passion, the energy, the culture, the vibe, the new visuals that you absorb, the kicks down to the jeans. I feel you. No, I feel you 100%, and I absolutely love it and respect you 1,000%.
The idea, in order to do that and to be in touch, in order to be in touch, you have to live in the moment and be appreciative, and be out and know what, last night I was with Lil Wayne. I mean, I was an NBA 2K. I mean, the 4 days ago I was at the weekend concert. A week ago was with Bad Bunny. I mean, there's always, you need to be in touch, and of course it's a lot of work, but it's also like, without sounding corny, it's truly a labor of love, because you want to be relevant, and like, and for
Yeah,
me, at this stage of the game, just that I have a Supreme collab, or I have a OVO collab, or I have a Weekend, or Tyler the Creator, or Missoni, or any other things that or the NFL. I mean, those are things that for me are very meaningful. Again,
Yeah.
not only for the money, but the money,
Not
but also
only this, yeah, it's
there's also
fulfilling.
the but also there's also a third element that comes into place also, which is something I only discovered 2 years ago, maybe, is the fact that I really had a very strong comeback the last couple of years. That's because I was retired and I decided to come back after Kobe passed away during that time, during the pandemic. I decided just to go back and do it. And my business has been on fire since. Uh, is also the fact that, like I said, I'm 67, I just turned 67. You know,
You look like
what
20 years younger and you got the energy of like a 30-year-old, you know what I mean? So I hope I'm like you.
where does all that work goes to? So it's like there is a new element that comes into the picture, which is very egomaniac in one way, but it's very humbling in the other way, and it's called legacy. So I'm basically building work that when I'm not going to be around, people might say, wow, I remember that jacket that the 75 greatest players wore that's in the Hall of Fame, or that jacket that NWA had in concert, or the one that Jadakiss when we won the Versus, was doing that, or the Kobe jacket in the locker room. I mean, and those things for me is just so, it's kind of like very rewarding without feeling the actual reward. I don't know how to explain that. And it's kind of very it's a humbling, but also pretentious in a way, egomaniac in a way, thinking that maybe my name means something after I'm no longer here. So
I feel you. I hear you. I hear you. I mean, you're stamping a memory, a moment in history. You're attached to this. It's something that's going to be spoken about in the barbershops in 20 years from today. I
yeah,
feel
so
yeah.
to that extent, that's why I became a little bit more protective of my brand, of like every jacket that I make, I create a piece of art to go with it. And when especially on the high end drops like the Supreme or the OVOs, whenever we make a jacket, I I deliver a piece of art to go with it,
A
and I
piece
sign
of
every
art.
jacket.
What kind of, like a canvas, or like what kind of art?
I'll 1 second here. Like for instance, I did that for. Sorry to do that. Like for instance, I did that for the 75 greatest players. So every jacket, every guy jacket got this. Like this is what we did for Missoni. You see.
Okay, okay.
So
Wow.
these
So
are
they
paper
get like a
thin.
hand, they get like a sketch type of vibe.
Yeah, instead of having the basic computer sketch, I basically do all hand illustration.
Oh wow.
I print them, and I personally all hands everything, and I sign it. So there is kind of like I want to feel that there is a connection directly with the
Yeah.
my fans, the people
Custom.
like myself, that I physically have touched the product. So there is a connection, and me being also an artist, I also have a gallery in Beverly Hills, and me being an artist, it's important for me to have that crossover, that my jackets are not, it's pretentious to say my jacket a piece of art, but my jackets are not
No.
jackets that you need
Yeah.
to wear because I often repeat myself, and it's something kind of very basic that I say is, you don't buy my jacket because you're hot and cold or cold, like you buy my jacket because you want to make a statement. Because a lot of people that buy my jackets actually, they tell me they're never going to wear it. They just take the jackets, a championship jacket, or the Supreme one, or the
Yeah.
OVO one
It's
debate.
a feeling of like elevating, like it's a status symbol. It's an elevating moment to that person, right? It just feels, it uplifts them in any way, right? I feel you. Yeah, it's the
Like I
material, it's
say,
the
like
quality. Hmm.
I always say, like you don't buy a Rolex because you know what time you want to know what time it is. But
Yeah,
you make a statement. It's something that makes good. First of all, that makes you feel good. That elevates your personality, gives you a
yeah.
certain comfort level, and you walk into to a place, you have your watch or your cars. I mean, listen,
Yeah,
a
yeah,
Kia will take you to point A to point B as much
yeah.
as a Chiron, you know. So that's the way
Exactly.
it
I was
works.
thinking just that, a Ferrari. Like you're not, you put on a Patek Philippe, you get in a Ferrari, it's only right you put on your Jeff Hamilton coat, right? Maybe you go to Jacob and Co. Nah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I love it. I love it. So the story is absolutely incredible. Let me ask you, for those listening too, we have a lot of successful entrepreneurs at the Billionaires Club, the Luxury Lifestyle Magazine, our audience, a lot of successful people. But for those up and coming, what would you say maybe was something that you looked back on, not to put you on the spot, but was a particular moment that was maybe an obstacle that became something that was even meaningful, like something you had to overcome, and or maybe a positive moment that you remember so much, it was so meaningful, and it gave you value, you feel someone could get value from?
It's gonna sound maybe you might not expect that answer, but the most rewarding times I've had in my life, hindsight,
Hmm.
as I'm standing here today, are my most difficult times that I've had, because I've been able to I'm able to appreciate so much more. Listen, when you become a millionaire and you're 24 years old, and you own gas jeans, and like you think like you're above, you're the king of the world, you're not appreciative of the blessing that the universe has given you. And when you then when it hits you and you go through good and bad times, you really start appreciating the simpler thing. When I'm in New York at an airport and or somewhere, and a young kid comes in and says, thank you so much what you've done for the culture, I don't look at it as an ego maniac moment. I look at it like, wow, somebody's appreciating my hard work. I never did it with the intention of having a reward like
Yeah,
that, but this is a different kind of reward. But the idea is really is never take anything for granted of everything you do. Don't assume that everything is here forever. Don't procrastinate, and always explores the blessings that the universe has given you. So if you're good in designing a car, or having a great body shop, or creating beautiful watches, or creating beautiful suits or jacket, know that that is the gift that you have been given, and try to explore it and try to maximize your potential as you do it. And that's kind of like where, with maturity and experience and hustle. I mean, there is, listen,
yeah,
I'm a hustler. I'm 67 years old. I was till 1 o'clock last night at NBA 2K party with, I told you, with Little Wayne
yeah,
and
yeah.
a
You're
bunch of
putting in
other
the
people.
footwork. You're putting in the work. It's
Footwork.
not all these amazing things. The variable, it is all these amazing things, definitely. But the variables in that equation, right? There's that hard work. You got to put in that hard
And
work.
it's hard work. And I
Yeah,
was here this morning at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I still do my things myself. I try to do as
yeah.
much as I can. I really put the work, because I don't believe that you relax, and the money comes in, and the work comes in. So I'm on top of my Instagram. I do my own things.
Yeah.
I'm very active. If somebody calls
I
me,
saw
like,
it right. Yeah, I saw it right here as we're starting the podcast. I believe an assistant or someone that works with you is you're talking about a post. They're like, "Yeah, we'll post that right after. Let's think about it. Let's discuss this right after. I want to just understand that, and we'll get that post done." It's something along these lines. I see it. I feel it. You're on it.
today, yesterday, I mean, we had today dropped the Supreme, but also we dropped a Prince jacket today, and tomorrow we're dropping something with Red Bull. So we did like a big collaboration with Blast, the rapper, and so and actually we're doing an event at my own art gallery in Beverly Hills tomorrow as well.
Absolutely amazing. Beautiful. So let me ask you this, tailoring into this, understanding those things you said, I appreciate you sharing that. What is your, like morning routine that keeps you so driven and on it like this? I feel that there's always something special going on in this moment in time in someone's day. We found that. What would you say? Is there a pattern to this morning routine, or you just go at it?
Yeah, there's a pattern, but basically, like you truly know that you're blessed when you wake up in the morning and you're excited to drive to your job. And I have that. I mean, there was years where I didn't want to wake up, but like I wake up in the morning. I'm excited just to come and here, come to here to my desk,
Hmm.
work with my four screens here, work with my team. Whether I'm working, I'm doing accounting, whether I'm doing designing, whether I'm doing anything, I'm. It's always a process that I like to do it. I'm
Yeah,
very hands-on, involved in every aspect of everything from the company, and you know, my priority is not necessarily always growing the company. It's just redoing a good job with whatever we're doing. And even if the company can stay small, it's okay as long as I'm, like I said, always maximizing my potential. It's not about the big hit at this stage of my life anymore. At this stage of my life, it's just to be happy and loving the things that I do, and keep on being creative. I mean,
yeah.
I get a lot of reward of being creative and coming up with ideas and getting new projects. And what's the next thing? Next week I'm going to Milan for Milan Fashion Week. Just who knows what's going to come out of it. I'm already doing the Missoni collab, so I'm talking to other big brands and just trying to elevate the game.
Just elevate. You're staying super consistent in everything you're passionate about, right? In all these different
Right.
categories. The consistency is really what you're focused on, right? Just staying on it. I love it. I love it. Absolutely amazing. Jeff, I thank you so much for coming on. I'm so happy we connected. You're part of the family at the Billionaires Club and the magazine. It's always all love on our side. And we'll look to connect and find you. The founder, Ian, he's in Miami. I'm in New York. And yeah, we'll always stay in touch and stay
Yeah,
in tune.
probably will be. I'm probably going to be in Miami before that, but I'll be in Miami for sure for Art Basel,
Okay.
and and I'm in New York at least once a month as well. So
All right, let's stay connected. We're with you. All right. Always all love.
okay,
Appreciate you, Jeff. Stay doing your thing, man. You're a legend, for real.
and
All
I
respect and
really
love.
appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you for your
Thank you,
time.
Jeff.
Look
Take
forward
care,
to talk
brother.
to you soon.
Take
Bye
care.
bye.
Take care. All right. Thank you for watching this episode. We upload a new episode every Friday at 5 p.m. EST, Eastern Standard Time. We as well greatly appreciate those that have subscribed to the channel. We appreciate the love and the support. Lastly, if you've missed last week's episode, tune into the episode right here.